The common refrain you've heard many times that demand equals supply is a description of the concept of market equilibrium. So when we say equilibrium, what we mean is that nobody wants to change their behavior. So the consumer wants to buy exactly the same quantity that the firm wants to sell. So let's look at this picture. We've got a supply curve and a demand curve. So we've got our demand curve and a supply curve. If the price is P, at these prices P, the quantity that's supplied is QS, right? So at these prices P, the firms are going to supply QS quantity. However, the quantity demanded is only QD. The price is very high, so demand is quite low. So what we have is that quantity supplied is greater than quantity demanded. So this is called a situation where we have excess supply. On the other hand, if P is down here, then since the price is quite low, the firms will only supply this quantity. Whereas due to the low price, consumers would like to demand this relatively high quantity. So quantity demanded is a lot higher than quantity supplied. And so we call this situation excess demand. Sort of this Goldilocks situation where the price is exactly so, where quantity supplied and quantity demanded are exactly equal to one another, is what we call equilibrium. So let's work through an example. We'll go back to that pork example that we've seen in earlier videos. We saw earlier that from the example that the quantity supplied at the price P is 88 plus 40p, and the quantity demanded at the price P is 286 minus 20p. So to find the equilibrium, what we need is to find the price P where quantity supplied and quantity demanded are equal to one another. So if we set those equal to one another, we've got one equation with one unknown, which is P. So you can solve that. So if you solve that, you'll find that P is equal to 330. So how do we get to equilibrium? Well, every actor behaves independently. Each consumer is going to demand the quantity that is best for them. Each supplier is going to supply the quantity that's best for them. Yet we get to an equilibrium. How does that happen? Well, this is where Adam Smith's invisible hand comes into play. If the price is too high, then the sellers can't find enough buyers for their wares. The suppliers at a very high price want to sell quite a large quantity, but the consumers don't want to buy very much. So the sellers would have to either dispose of or store what they've produced. And they incur a cost by doing so. So that's going to cause them to decrease the quantity that they are supplying. On the other hand, if the price is very low, then the buyers can't find enough sellers. So sellers would be better off increasing their prices. So if an individual seller were to raise their price a little bit, they'd still be able to find somebody to buy their wares. When the price is just right, there's no incentive for anyone to change their behavior. And that's what we call a competitive equilibrium or a market equilibrium.